Welcome to our November Customer Success webinar. Thank you for joining us today. Today's topic is 3D StoryTeller, Ohio Valley Bank's Experience in 2021 Planning. My name is Brenda Pierce, and I've got David Kingsbury and also Helen Triplett on the line today.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good morning.
Morning. Okay. So let's look at today's agenda. We're going to start today's webinar with our discussion with Brenna Butler. Thank you for submitting questions. We're going to cover all those questions, and you can also enter in questions as we are going through the discussion if you think of something for Brenna. We will do those live. Then we're going to move into Helen is going to address getting the most out of your reporting, which is a very important topic. And of course, we will have the Campaign of the Month and the Superstar of the Month award. And we'll finish up today with our Java Joy Starbucks gift card winner. Okay, so let's get started. So today we have Brenna on the line. Brenna is the Vice President of Corporate Communications at Ohio Valley Bank. She is also one of our early adopters for 3D StoryTeller. So let me give a quick disclaimer here. Ohio Valley Bank has only had 3D StoryTeller turned on for less than a month. So for some of the questions, there may not be much data to report, but we'll address all questions that are submitted. We wanted to give you an opportunity to ask Brenna questions as you consider implementing 3D StoryTeller for your financial institution. So type your questions into the chat or the question box, and we will get to your questions. But before we get to questions, I want to let you know two things about Brenna. One is there's a great article out there, Bank Business News, where they interviewed Brenna on how Ohio Valley Bank successfully leveraged digital channels to manage customer communications during COVID-19. So if you haven't read that article, you might want to just search that up. It's a great article. I'm sure most of you experienced the same thing, but so that is one thing. And the second thing we wanted to do, I did a little bit of Nancy Drew work. And did you know that our Brenna from Ohio Valley Bank is also an author? And she has written 8 books. Here are some of her books. And she's got her latest book is, what is it, Brenna?
Wrong Side of the Grave. Yeah. They're all mysteries. Yeah. And I cannot believe you found these books.
I know, yeah. Hey, so all I did, so it's Christmas time, and these are great. They're teen mysteries. I'm getting one for my daughter for Christmas. Just search on Brenna Butler, and you can get those early Christmas gifts. But anyway, isn't that exciting? So Brenna is an author and a banker.
Yeah, this is definitely my creative side, past all the financial news releases and annual reports and that kind of thing. So,
yeah, well, I love it. Anyway, I was playing Nancy, but thank you for that. Okay, so now we'll get serious. Back to business. Okay, so one of our first questions came in, and it was from a credit union that wants to know what originally attracted you to 3D StoryTeller.
So that first attraction for us was very simple. You know, the look of it, the feel of it looks very much like an Instagram story, which was very attractive to us for our younger customers. That whole idea of playability, that you can take this StoryTeller cube and flip it around at your will and it moves with you, it was a very cool thing. We showed it to some of our younger banking customers, and they just loved that. They thought that was cool. They couldn't believe that our community bank had something like that potentially. So that cool factor was the thing that got us out of the gate, and how much, you know, we don't have very often channels to deliver advertising that our customers love to play around with, and we found this was very engaging to them.
That's really neat. So when so the cool factor was really big in this. Did you have a wide range of people using it? Older, younger?
We do. You know, we have been just using it under a month, but we're starting to see some of that usage gain. And I'll talk a little bit later about some of the things that we've done strategy-wise to really have our customers even seek out StoryTeller within our interface.
Okay, great.
Well,
Okay.
And I was gonna jump in real quick. Also, Brenna was talking about their Ohio Valley Bank is always on the lookout for innovative new ways to engage their customers.
Right.
Right. So we're real impressed with Brenna's eye towards innovation. Right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. Okay, so let's move on. And our second question comes from a smaller bank, and they wanted to know, how do you plan to introduce 3D StoryTeller to your customers, which is a great question.
Yes. We first introduced it to our employees. We feel very strongly that word of mouth from the front line is very important. You know, there's nothing that replaces a teller in a branch that's trusted telling their customers, hey, did you see this in your internet banking? Did you click on it? Did you know that it'll give you this? So our plan started with our employees. Now, we did do a soft launch since we're an early adopter of the technology, just to make sure everything come out straight out of the gate well. We're planning kind of a traditional campaign around it, starting in January. For most financial institutions, including ours, January is kind of a time that we do very well touting organizational items. Like we see heightened usage of bill pay and NetTeller. We use NetTeller internet banking and mobile banking during and OFM especially during January, because people make New Year's resolutions that they want to get control of their finances this year. So we always see heightened usage of any kind of organizational banking products. So we're kind of wanting to pull StoryTeller and how we're using it into that. And we're planning some traditional things like announcing that we do have it through general traditional press releases. We're talking about notifications through our mobile app about it, outside of our launch graphics to launch StoryTeller within our internet banking interface. So we'll be doing some things, probably a blurb in our email newsletters, some different things to try to let our customers know outside a channel that this is available.
Oh, that's great. So you'll have lobby banners and press releases.
Yeah. We actually have, except one that we ended up closing this morning. All our lobbies are currently open despite COVID. So we do have small lobby traffic these days, but we do have lobby traffic. We also have posters that are positioned so you can see them from our drive-through. And so we're talking about signs and posters as well to people that are actually on site at the branches.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay, David, did you have any comments for Brenna?
No, just the overall thorough approach to promoting is awesome. Well done.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. Okay. Our next question is, in what ways will you use 3D StoryTeller?
So this was a great question, and this is one that we put a lot of thought into. So when you get into StoryTeller, kind of the nuts and bolts, the basics of StoryTeller is basic deep target that we've always had. So how do we use this differently? How do we leverage this technology to make it worthwhile? And so our approach I've heard a lot of different approaches, but our approach has been that we're kind of looking at deep target differently. So what we are implementing is that we're taking any ads that are all user ads or large target audience ads, we're putting those through basic deep target. And then we're taking our really niche items, our deeply targeting items, our predictive model items, those things are going to be in 3D StoryTeller. The campaigns in 3D StoryTeller also, we're looking at consistently refreshing that content, adding new content every week even. And it's not a large campaign we're adding, maybe just a small campaign that we know it's going to target just a few people, but we're adding something every week to that. So the idea is we're going to keep pushing campaigns into this 3D StoryTeller bucket. And when we're done, because we're having such niche audience ads, we're going to have very unique stats for all those customers. So the way we're using 3D Storyteller is that come into internet banking, you're going to see your basic ads, your all user ads, your kind of general audience type ads. But if you click on 3D Storyteller, those are where you see your personalized insights. These are the things that are specially tailored to you. And so that draws people into StoryTeller, and it allows us to really give those financial insights that we've really just seen from the big banks, big national banks that have their own core of software programmers before. Deep Target is allowing us to do that with this. So we're delivering those campaigns. What do they look like? Well, they look like maybe some of your more deeply targeted campaigns, like if you have $10,000 sitting in a basic savings account, hey, why don't you move it over to our money market account? Those kind of things, some really targeted items. We know you have a kid at home that's 16. Hey, here, think about this student financing package. Those kind of things we're delivering in there. We're also delivering tips, just general banking tips, but we're delivering those in a targeted manner so that they get tips special to the products they're using with us. So that's kind of how we looked at using StoryTeller,
Yeah, so that's awesome, Brenna. All of that detailed thought that you've put into it. So of all your customers, everyone will get their normal ads related to great products, but then you'll have launch ads that will be personalized that will say, check out your specific offers, Susan. Jump into 3D Storyteller, and those will be a much finer set, a more niche group of customers that you're targeting at this point in time with certain products that would benefit them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we're kind of looking at it as within 3D Storyteller, the campaigns that we run there aren't customer sales ads, they're customer care ads. Those are the things that we're making sure they're in the right products. We're suggesting products that make sense for them. We're suggesting tips that make sense for them.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Well done.
So, Brenda, one of the things when I was listening to you talk, I was thinking as a consumer, I would so appreciate that because you're cutting through the noise. You're giving me exactly what I need, and it's very relevant to the person. So, I can't think of a better strategy than what you guys have laid out. So thank you. And
thank you.
Think of it as to think of it as a customer care. That's exactly what you're doing. You're caring about the customer, giving them relevant information. And cutting through the noise. Okay, so that was great. So let's move on to the next question, which is this is really good. Yeah. So this one came in, and the question is, what is expected of the financial institution? How long did it take to get up and running, and what was the load on your part? Is it lengthy?
Well,
no.
No, not at
all.
Great. The Deep Target made it so easy for us. We were up and running in just a couple of weeks. Deep Target provided us a whole library of ads, campaigns that we could use right out of the gate with StoryTeller. Training took just an hour or two. It was very simple to use. The implementation took no time. Installation implementation took no time at all. We took a little extra time in testing just because we knew we were one of the first users, but that went very smoothly. We didn't find anything that caused this issue, and we were able to get up and running in no time flat. Yeah, support has been fantastic with this product.
So it was a smooth transition?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah. Anybody that's used the Deep Target interface, you could probably use StoryTeller right now without any training, or very little training. It's very easy to pick up if you already know Deep Target. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. And one thing you did mention is when we were talking, your bank does its own design and likes to stay on branding. But there's also a library filled with images that you can go ahead and use.
Yeah, absolutely. We had dozens of ad campaigns that Deep Target just went ahead and uploaded them for us, had them ready to go. All we had to do is, if we liked them, to go ahead and push the button to publish them in StoryTeller. So it made it really easy, turnkey for us to turn it on very quickly. We do have an in-house design team and do a lot of our own design too, so that was no problem to do that way as well.
Okay. What about, have you used any videos?
We haven't used video yet, but we have plans for it. That's one of the things I'm really excited about. You're able to do StoryTeller. For those that haven't seen it yet, it's kind of a cube that you flip around, and any of the sides, you can do all sides, I suppose, if you really wanted to, but you can do a few second video on it. And so one of the things that we're doing now is we're running a static message, static campaign with a picture of our chairman and CEO on it. And it's a welcome to customers that have just been with us for 2 months or less. And so that's in the StoryTeller stack now. What our plan is to take that and actually have him speak a welcome on video for a few seconds and put that in there. We haven't done that yet, but that is in our plan. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited about the implementing that with maybe some loan officer messages, anything that we can do to get our community bankers out there to show people they are real humans, not just a figure on a website page or a phone call. We love being able to incorporate those small snippets of video into it. So yeah, it's definitely within our plans.
Yeah. So one of the things, David, you always say it takes 2 seconds to grab someone's attention, and so but people love video. People are consuming video, so that's a great mix. Part of your mix.
Well,
so I'm glad.
Yeah, and the other day, David mentioned sound, and sound is not something we really even considered yet, and so I'm excited. We're starting to get our wheels turning about incorporating sound into those as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Brenna. Great stuff.
And so really you're, the more you talk, the more ideas that come to mind. So you're really limited only by your imagination.
That's absolutely right. I fully believe that. That's so customizable. Yeah, what you can imagine is pretty much the limit when it comes to this product.
I love it. Okay. All right. So we'll go to our last question, or one of our last questions. Okay. So far we love the best practice, 10 best practice hit list. So this goes with that. So far, what are the emerging best practices that you are discovering with 3D StoryTeller? We know it is just in the early phases, but what can you share for best practices?
I think my number one item would be to go back and look at the data that you're sending to Deep Target. That's one of the very first things we did, and I'm really glad we did it because it opened up a lot more opportunity with us for StoryTeller. We went back and looked at every field of data that we send to Deep Target to populate our stacks. And so with that, we identified, well, we're not sending them this, but if we send them this, we could do some targeted campaigns this way. So that's my number one best practice. Go back and look at that information that you send from your core software. Look at your customer information that you're sending to Deep Target and see where you need to augment that information. What are you not sending that maybe you would help if you did? I know with us, our IT department kind of set all that up in the very beginning. We've been with Deep Target for a few years. I just didn't really remember, honestly, everything that we sent and everything that we send. So when we do our updates, so taking a look at that information and kind of getting it fresh in your mind, as well as looking to see if are there pieces of information that you can add in, is always, I think that's a really good first practice. Really take some time. The second thing, really take some time to think about StoryTeller and how you're going to use it differently than regular Deep Target advertising. I've heard a lot of different ways. I mentioned the way we're using it. I've heard it mentioned that possibly you could use it for navigation within your mobile app, maybe a more modern navigation, have it pop up like that. It's so customizable. You don't have to put ads on each side of that StoryTeller cube. You can do whatever you want. So really think about all the different ways that you can do that A/B testing, I think that's very important when it comes to any kind of deep target advertising. That you do A/B testing to see what works and what doesn't work. Creating highly unique stacks for your users. That's one of ours personally best practice. What we're striving for, kind of our main goal, and keeping that consistently fresh content. We want to make sure that typically with deep target advertising, we kind of sometimes we tend to set it and forget it, even though we don't necessarily want to, but we tend to upload campaigns that run for a quarter, and then we switch out the campaigns and do something different, or maybe have some mini campaigns in the middle of that. But for the most part, our deep target campaigns usually run about 60 or 90 days. And so with StoryTeller, we're wanting to do that more often, keep that content very, very fresh. And because those are very deeply targeted items that we're using in StoryTeller, it also helps too that customer grows with the bank and changes their product lineup. That stack is going to change on its own without us changing out ads too. So just keeping that consistently fresh content is very important best practice, I believe, as well.
Very good. Yeah, I agree. It makes you more sticky, right? So you get them in more different accounts.
It's that customer care aspect. Yeah, it needs to be able to grow and evolve with them.
Okay, great. Okay, and then we're going to move, and this will be our last question for today, but we're interested as you keep using 3D StoryTeller, what other best practices come up. So we'll keep talking and figure all that out. Okay, so our last question, have you turned on predictive campaigns, and do you have any news to share?
Yeah, I'll briefly touch on this, that we have turned on 2 predictive campaigns. One we're running inside the StoryTeller interface, and one we're running just outside on basic deep target. Both are doing well. We're very happy with them. The one inside of StoryTeller, we just started, so we're just starting to see those metrics, but they're very promising right out of the gate. We're seeing that predictive model, especially inside the StoryTeller frame, is just really getting clicks. So these look really good to us. I know I will share that for us, this was a little bit of a struggle, just in case there's anybody out there that's hearing that as well. When we went to use predictive campaigns with loan products, our compliance officer was very skeptical about it, wanted to know exactly what the predictive model included. They just wanted to make sure that we weren't violating any regulation and advertising by using that predictive model. And so the deep target team, if you have the same concerns with your compliance officer, know that deep target support can fully give you the information that you need to get past that. And we were able to do so quickly. He loves the predictive model now, has no concerns about it at all. And so we're looking forward to that, using that in more ways than just these first 2 tests. But currently we're using it for an auto loan ad, and we're using it for a specialized mortgage that's a no down payment mortgage for first-time homeowners product. So with those 2 product types, it's working very well.
Great. Thank you, Brenna. And we are hearing some of the same kind of comments from our other early adopters. So that's awesome. David, any closing remarks before we let Brenna go?
No, I just want to echo that, we're so pleased with Brenna and her team and their engagement with 3D StoryTeller, seeing the value of it, being, first to have some innovative technology in the, financial space is so critical. And the customers are, to Brenda's point earlier, the customers are already accustomed to this type of innovation in the digital space, and they want to see it from their financial institution as well. And so it's just a huge win-win. So thank you, Brenna. Great work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Brenna, for joining us today. It's just a swipe. I mean, everybody knows how to swipe, so that makes it so easy. Okay, Brenna, we're going to move on. We appreciate, and don't forget, Brenna's books. Merry Christmas, right? Okay, so let's move on, and we're going to move into Helen's hints. And Helen?
Okay. Well, every month I try to decide what would be a good topic. And so, being in the support area, we get a chance to look at a lot of people's instances, see what's going on, see where some improvements can be made. So, so today's topic is going to be about product codes and setting up for accurate reporting. So this is just kind of trends that we see, and you just may need a refresher for everybody. So today I'm going to go over the importance of product codes and product assignments as they relate to your campaign setup. And they're crucial steps you need to follow when you create your campaigns in order for reports to accurately reflect your views and clicks and your account opens, and making sure they're in the right buckets. So to get started, I always find it a little easier to explain this by starting at the result and then work backward. So when you look at this chart, you see the influence conversions on the third tab of the managerial report. And you see a month-by-month breakout of the new product accounts by category that were opened 45 days after having viewed an ad or 90 days after having clicked on an ad. And so on this one, you see maybe like the money market and the HELOC categories. There's some months that have zero, but that's okay because they were conversions in only a few months because they only ran campaigns for certain amounts of time during that year. So this one looks good. So one thing to note, everybody always asks that note at the bottom. So if you viewed an ad in the last 45 days, clicked on an ad in the last 90 days, and then opened an account, that constitutes an influence conversion. So now let's take a look at another chart. So this is another customer, and we're looking at their influence conversions in their managerial report. And I'm going to go through the categories on the left. And you see that there is an unassigned category listed. Now, this should be a red flag when you see this, if this is coming up on your managerial report. You do not want to have new account openings in this category because it means you have product codes that haven't been mapped to the proper categories. So anytime your data comes in, the product categories get refreshed. Your institution might be adding new products, and those need to be looked at on a quarterly basis. And so on this one, you can see there were 129 new product accounts that were grouped into the wrong bucket. So, because the product codes weren't mapped, you don't know whether that was a checking or a HELOC or a used auto or whatever. So this is the way you can kind of troubleshoot your report. So now, how do you correct this? So the first thing you want to do is see what product codes are in the unassigned bucket. And so you can go to any campaign and go to the campaign settings and choose the product assignments tab. And then when you scroll down, you look for the unassigned category, and that will show you all of the product codes that are in that unassigned bucket. And if you don't know what your product codes mean, which sometimes, sometimes the marketing folks don't know, what that means, go to someone in your organization, maybe your IT or lending department, or someone who's knowledgeable about those product codes and get that information from them. So you need to get the product code in the description so you know how to map those accounts. And so next, you want to go to Settings, Instant Settings, Manage Account Types. And you can have Deep Target. You can send that information to us. We can do it for you, but you can do it yourself. If you go there, you will see a list of all the product codes on the left and how they're mapped. And you want to look for the product codes that have unassigned in that account type. And all you have to do is simply use that drop-down list to select the appropriate category, so you can choose consumer loan, credit card, or whatever. And note, it's okay to leave some product codes in the unassigned bucket. By default, your product codes go into the unassigned bucket. But things like charge-off, or if you have internal codes that you're only using, like I say, just within your credit union or bank, you can leave those in the unassigned bucket. But when you do that, we recommend putting a description over in the right-hand side to let you know what that is. So, Deep Target Support won't hound you, or you may have forgotten what it was the last time you reviewed them. So that's just a tip there. So now when you go to create a new campaign or copy a campaign, always double check your product assignments so you know that you have the correct product codes or category associated with them. This is a common mistake that we see, particularly when people copy a campaign, that you might have something, hey, I already set it up before, or I don't want to have to fool around with that again, but you always need to check those product codes. And if you have a general loan campaign that you might be using that has many types of categories, because we noticed that some people are like, hey, we've got loans of all types. That's kind of a common type of a campaign people send out. Make sure that you check all of the appropriate categories or products that go with that as you're doing it. Okay, and so finally, these next two slides, there are some other tips and hints. Some of these I mentioned as I was going through earlier, but these are really good ones to keep in mind. So when copying a campaign, review the product assignments for accuracy. It's okay to leave some product codes in the unassigned bucket, but annotate them. If you have inactive product codes that you don't use anymore, go ahead and put those into the appropriate category anyway, because your data may be out there. You know, it's historical, and so you want to keep those codes in the right category. And a campaign must have a product code when using the predictive model targeting method. You cannot have that unassigned. And some others, don't use unassigned as a campaign category. Don't delete campaigns that have had views in the last 2 years, because that'll impact your reports. That doesn't have to do with product codes or assignments, but it will affect what your reports look like. And if you have a campaign that's for an event or a holiday, you don't have to put a product code assigned with those. So those are some just helpful hints that I think might be useful for you guys. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Helen. Okay. Now we'll move into the Deep Target Awards. And for the Campaign of the Month Award, it goes to Northern Star Credit Union. Congratulations, Campaign of the Month. It goes to Linnell she's the marketing manager of Northern Star. And
they had a great holiday personal loan campaign. And this campaign is running in both online banking and mobile channels. And it has a great click-through rate. And so in October, the click-through rate was 4.16%. And this campaign has continued to perform extremely well with a 6.8% click-through rate over the lifetime of the campaign. So congratulations to Linnell for having a great campaign. It's great holiday time. We've noticed that a lot of people are doing their holiday.
Have those holiday ads out. All right. So congratulations. Now we'll move to the Superstar of the Month Award, and that goes to?
This is going to go to North State. So we have Northern Star and we have North State.
I know, right?
Actually, so this was interesting who won this month. And so Denise, the Executive Marketing Director, has done a fantastic job with their Deep Target campaigns in their campaign strategy. Both the KEI and KMI were in the outstanding category in October. They had a KEI of 21, which was an incredible 40% improvement over September. They had a KMI of 36. It was great. In addition, they had 157 new accounts open in October, which was a 21% increase over the prior month. So
that's huge.
Just with these new campaigns that they've had out, they're doing really, really well.
And we always take a look at the donut chart, and they have a wide range of campaigns going on. And then we always look at the best practices, and they use 9 out of the 10 best practices. Right. So that is a new trend. I can go ahead and say, right, Helen?
That's right.
That if you use 9 out of the 10, then you could be one of our winners.
That's
okay.
Right. So the next chart, we want to take a look at what did they do, what did the campaign framework look like. And so they ran multiple ads in 4 loan categories and a couple of campaigns for deposits and some for insurance and gift cards. And they used a great mix of all users and targeted campaigns across the board. And for the home equity loan, they used a predictive model targeting audience. So we wanted to call that out.
Yay.
They were using, they had great results. And so, like I mentioned before, they're using online banking and mobile. And so here's some examples of some of their ads, and they used a mix of new images and existing Halloween ad that Deep Target had in the content library. And so you can see that by these ads, you can see they were prepared for their holidays, and the seasonal image choices resonated with their members. You can see that through their KEI.
And I love that little kitty cat in the box, and I also love the pug on the gift customize your debit card. So using animals really does work.
Yep. So congratulations
to everybody.
They've done really great job this month.
Absolutely. Okay, and we did reach out, and we looked at some of the people that were using some holidays. Holidays are here. We have a sweater weather where you can win a free cup of coffee. Jingle Bells is here, and some great holiday ads that are showing up. We also wanted to mention that in our content library.
Yeah. While we're talking about the holiday ads, if you're kind of in a pinch, you need to use
a quick ad.
Yeah, you can go to the content library. Indeed, Target has banners out there in lots of different sizes that you can use. So.
Yeah. So we just wanted to remind you, and we love it when our winners share their pictures. Here's a picture of Pace from Guardian Credit Union. She was our August Campaign of the Month winner, and this is a great picture. So thank you for sending that in.
That's exciting.
I know. All right, we just want to remind everybody before we get to Java Joy, you could win a $50 gift card, and all you have to do is sign up for a 30-minute customer success review, request a 3D StoryTeller quote, and also let us know if you've turned on predictive campaigns. That if you do all three of those, you get in the drawing 3 times, and you have a better shot. And ask Raven. She said she never wins anything, but she did it. She did all 3 things last time, and she won. So, and here also we have our special offer, which is ending soon. So make sure to reach out to David Kingsbury. Here's his email. Here's his phone. He would love to talk to you about this special offer and to get you a quote. Okay, so now we're at the Java Joy time.
And let's see who's still on.
Okay, so let's look here. Here we go. All right, we're just verifying that you're still on the line. I know we went a little bit over today, but we have some really good information. Can you hear my clip?
Okay. All right.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Who is our winner?
Actually, still on the line. It's Lee Hayes from Members Exchange.
Yay, Lee.
So, Lee, congratulations.
Lee Hayes from Members Exchange. Oh, and let me also just tell everybody, if you are a winner and you do not receive your gift card, please let us know. A lot of times the firewall, y'all have very strict firewalls and they don't go through and you have to go contact your IT person, but we will hunt that baby down. So if you don't receive it, you let us know because we want to make sure you get it. Okay. So for next month, we want to make sure you sign up. That December is always a fun month. We take a look back, and then we also pick an overall winner for the whole year. So you want to make sure, and we'll give away a great gift for that. So make sure to join us there. We really appreciate you joining us today. And at the end, when we end the broadcast, please fill out a survey. There should be 3 questions, and if you don't mind just filling that out, we would appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We hope you have a joy-filled rest of the month and that you stay safe and have a productive month as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next month.